What's up, everybody? So I am painfully camera shy, but everyone has been telling me I need to get over that and show my face some more in these videos. So that's what I'm doing. I don't think I really need to narrate because I'm just touching up everything on this creation, which is a recreation of an older piece that I did. This is the piece that I created out of air-dried clay a long while ago, and two of the locks broke off. And air-dry clay just isn't, sturdy. It cracks a lot, gives a lot of problems. So now that I'm further along in my sculpting journey, I started back in 2022, I'm a lot more confident about the approach of things, and especially pieces that I have created in the past. So I decided that I was going to recreate this one, and it's coming out really beautifully. I'm gonna try to lift it up. It's still a little soft. But this is what it's looking like so far. I think he is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I let you guys know in the video yesterday that I'm going to be doing a companion piece to this, and I'm so excited about that because it's probably the most detailed or ornate that I will ever have gotten with a sculpture to date. So, I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to level up, level up, level up, level up, level up. So I'm going to hush now, and you can just watch me finesse this piece if you'd like. And I'm always open to questions from, any new sculptors that want to know about why I do what I do, which is just experimentation. I'm not knowledgeable in this. I'm just going along as I can, trying to learn so that I can master this craft at some point. There's no rush. There is no time limit. It's just growth as it comes. So, I hush now. Bye. Love you. Say hi to people.
Hey guys.
That's my son. He said not to work. I love you too. Have a great experience. I like when he heads out to work and I get to just sculpt without interruption. Now, he just turned 20 years old, so trust me, he is not bothering me. He just is in his room talking to his friends, playing his video games, stuff like that until he has to go to work. But I am really a control freak. Yeah, so little things when I'm in my zone can really annoy me to no end. Hearing the door suddenly open, him walking past 1,000 times to go to the refrigerator, like something new is gonna miraculously appear in there. I might not say anything, I might not even look up. But in my mind, I'm going, why won't he sit his ass down somewhere? So I like it when the place is really quiet. As a matter of fact, at some point, I'm probably gonna have to put his cat in his room just so he won't bother me because he'll start looking for attention after a while, or he'll want to be fed and he'll get really intrusive, in a loving way, but just mad bothersome. And like I said, when I get into a particular zone, there are only two things that can happen. Something can be on the television that I've watched 1,000 times. I know the words by heart. I don't even have to look around to see what's going on. Or that goes off and then suddenly there's complete silence and I don't even notice. And then the silence becomes the thing that I need to remain consistent. And that varies literally from second to second. So imagine me going into my silent mode and then the phone rings, or I hear the elevator open up outside, or my son Ty comes out and asks me a question. God forbid, it's like a nuisance to me. So I can get really stank, and I do have to check myself about that very often to not respond to him like he's a bother, because he's really not. But like I said, that creative zone is one that you want to be locked into because you can make so much progress. It's like you'll be thinking barely any time has passed, and then you realize you've been sculpting something for an hour straight when you literally thought it had been like 15 minutes when you sat down. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do for these locks. And I told you in one of the videos that locks give me a lot of problems. They always tend to break off. I have a lot of problems with transporting my pieces because my car is a jalopy. So, there's no suspension. Every bump is like I've just gone over a literal mountain. So I end up with a lot of breakage just on the way to the studio. And, that's daunting because it's just like you were just looking at your piece 20 minutes ago and it was perfect and it was flawless in your opinion. And then you get to the studio and realize chunks of it are in the box because they've fallen off. So I am going to be trying a different approach with locks the next time. One that Katie of Joe's Picasso, the studio I go to, the owner, she recommended instead of making them solid tubes like these are. Let me move this closer to the camera. So each of these locks is just a solid rolled clay tube that I placed onto the foundation. And she was saying, why don't I, make a hollowed tube and form it so that it's like a tunnel and then attach it so that there's less clay to deal with crumbling. You know, I'm down for whatever. Whatever's going to get my pieces to a finished point that I can feel secure about, that's all that matters to me. What I don't want is vulnerable pieces. I know that you can repair clay. I have not worked enough with it to feel confident in it, so I'd rather it just come out of the kiln intact, then be glazed, and then come out of the kiln intact again. I'm sure you can glue it. I know that there's clay mender for bisqueware. I know that for greenware, you can go back in with slip. But like they say, clay has memory. So those areas, even when you fix them, are still going to be vulnerable. Even with the glaze on, it's always just going to be some temperamental areas because that crack is there and the clay remembers. So, you know, I'm going to have to try a lot of different techniques to get the perfect balance and the perfect groove for when I'm doing things that I know can end up leaving the piece vulnerable. I'm looking around because I'm trying to figure out how I can put this up higher so that's a little bit more in the frame for you. And I've got one of my pieces that's drying, the second installment of Three Sisters One Fro. It's on a higher platform. So I think I'm going to remove the bag off of it, and I'll show it to you real quick before I set it on the table, and I'll use the platform. All right, what's happening now is that I'm afraid to lift them because it's a 3-part sculpture. And I don't know if it's wise to lift them because they're joined by their fro and that area could end up coming apart. So I'm gonna slide it into the frame, then slide it back out of the frame and try to ease it down onto the table. Now I've gotta move him so that you can see them. All right. So this is Three Sisters, One Fro. I'm sorry, I work in a junky environment, but it works for me. So this is Three Sisters, One Fro. They are drying. They still have a long way to go. They're still very cold to the touch. And they are pretty much joined by the afro that they share. So that's why I'm saying to lift them up like this, I risk inadvertently bending it this way, cracking at the fro. So I'm gonna have to figure out the precise way to hold them that'll keep that from happening. And I see an area on the back of one where the slip didn't get removed, or I don't know, maybe it did get removed and it's just not drying. Nope, that's a buildup. So I'm just taking a tool and scraping away that buildup before I put them back and leave them alone because they need to dry for, I'm thinking probably another month. So what are we at? It's like March 17th? Yeah. So I'm going to leave this to dry till at least April 18th. I'll probably end up taking it into the studio on my birthday, which is April 26th. As a little treat for myself, just so I can have something to look forward to after my birthday is done. And hopefully they'll come out of the kiln intact because the companion piece in this series is still drying. It's been dropped off to the studio, but it'll be going in the kiln probably in about another week or two. I'm really hoping these pieces survive because I'm in love with them. No sense in being humble right now. I'm in love with them. And for those of you who know me, you know, I don't say that about a lot of my work. I am the hardest person to impress when it comes to my work, but these pieces really speak to me. And I just want everything to be all right with them so I can do a matte glaze and see how that turns out. All right, so I cleaned up that area. And every time you pull out your sculpture, it's just like with your art, your illustrations or your paintings, you have a little time away and you return and you see little things that you missed before that you need to fix and finesse. So that's what's going on right here. I'm just noticing a little bit of everything. All right, I'm gonna jump out of the camera frame for just a minute so that I can get these positioned to be slid off of the turntable so that I can put him on. And I think we'll have a better video because you'll be able to see him. He's down so low right now. So I'm gonna turn this off and I'll come back.